it's kind of hard to find if you're trying to look for it. It doesn't say animal. It doesn't have any like um, any signage. Like once again, I think that's part of the whole minimalistic
The
theme.
cool thing, yeah.
It just says 435, which is the address, 435 Fairfax. But it doesn't even say 435 Fairfax. It just says 435 in very small letters. So if you're looking for it, it's a restaurant between two shopping stores, and just it's painted gray, and it says 435.
Yeah.
Once you go in there, you'll see the tables, and they have a bar all the way in the back.
I think that's kind of one of the cool things about it. Like, kind of has like that appeal that you don't
Like
really
mysterious.
need. You don't really need it to say Animal. Animal is a contemporary American restaurant that started in 2008 by two chefs. I believe they are originally from Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the kind of like cool like twist to Animal is that, you know, as the name implies, they do serve a lot of
Animal body parts.
animal body parts, which you wouldn't necessarily find on your dinner table at every meal or every restaurant that you're at. So that's kind of what differentiates the Animal from other restaurants in Los Angeles. The two guys, they actually have a couple other restaurants.
Their name are John and Vinny.
John and Vinny.
First impression of the restaurant, you know, it's very minimalistic. So it's actually a very small little place, which was one of my negatives. It's so small, it kind of feels crowded a little bit. I had a backpack, and the hostess nicely offered to put it somewhere in the back for me, because I think they know how small it is, so they probably wanted, you know, to be accommodating for me and for the guests, because it's probably gonna get in the way. So that's one of the negatives. And I think that's pretty much it. As far like the restaurant seemed pretty clean. With the exception of the restroom that had a couple of flies when I went in there. But other than that, as long as you stay in the restroom, not the kitchen. So we are here at the Animal. I came to the restroom because someone once told me, actually a health inspector who inspects my truck, once told me that the best way to find out whether a restaurant is clean is by inspecting the restroom. If the restroom's clean, the restaurant should be pretty clean. So let's inspect. Everything seems to be good except for some bugs. Like that one. I don't know what it is, like a cockroach. There's a fly over here. There we go. But everything else seems quite clean. The service was great. Like I said, the hostess, you know, was thinking not only of me but the people around myself. You know, the entire restaurant by offering me to take my bag and put it away. And I think that, you know, that shows that they're paying attention to everything.
The
and
details.
You know, the details. Our server. He was good. He was good. He wasn't like, he didn't impress me as far as like servers, but there wasn't any negative that I could say about him. He did suggest a couple things, and I felt like he kind of did like
His
the
duty.
regular server duty. He didn't go above and beyond. He didn't impress me. He didn't like leave a like memorable impression on me. But he also didn't do a bad job.
Totally.
The busboy was always attentive towards us. They were making sure that our dishes were filled. Our water was always filled. Our water glasses were always filled. They were making sure that our plates were always taken out. You know, if we were done with our with our dishes, they always made sure that they were being taken away, so that we had space for anything else. We just had extra space ourselves. So every time they just seemed to be very attentive towards us, towards our needs. So it didn't feel like the service was lacking in any way. I felt like they did a good job. I wouldn't say they did something stellar,
of course,
but it was good service.
Yeah. And another thing about the service, I think the reason maybe why we weren't so impressed was because the atmosphere definitely added to it. It was such a very small space. There was a lot of people eating that night. It was a very busy night, and so with that, the noise levels were very high. You have many conversations going on at once, so a lot of the times
in a
very crowded space. So it's kind of hard to have that connection with the waiter or waitress, servers serving us. So I think that was one of the detriments to the service. But again, that's the kind of like the feel, the motive of the restaurant.
Food was delicious. It was obviously a highlight of our experience. And I mean, if you look these guys up or you read about them or whatever, you will not be surprised, because that's what they're known for. They're known to be very innovative with their food. They're known to be very daring and creative, and definitely the food was outstanding. Some of the things on the menu, when you're reading them, you might be like, what is this?
Whoa.
Like, it's
Pig ears.
Yeah, pig ears.
Lots of liver.
Yeah, lots of liver. But once you give it a chance and you try it, it's delicious. The first thing we had was the liver toast.
Chicken liver
toast, which was pretty good. It was one of my favorites. This, given that I don't like liver that much, so it was pretty good. It was a bit small. We were expecting 2 little pieces, but it was only 1 little piece, which is fine. We shared it. I don't think I could have eaten one whole thing by myself.
I could have,
but it was really good. The sauce they put on top of it really made that toast.
Made it.
Combination with that with the liver, it was delicious.
The price was a little steep though, so you got I would say it's a very small piece of,
probably 3 bites.
3 bites. So 3 bites of
a chicken liver toast.
What kind of bread would you say that is? Is it like a sourdough?
Yeah, it's probably sourdough.
Almost like a sourdough. It has a little bit of a crunch to it, and for that piece, it was $6, which again is quite steep.
Next thing we had was the Mongolian sweetbreads, which was one of our favorites. I think it was one of our favorites. But I do like sweetbread. For people who don't know what sweetbread is, it's the gullet of what animal was it?
The gullet. I think it's of like a bird, so like a turkey, or it can be a chicken as well.
Well, the gullet is basically like the stuff that hangs from the neck. So so that's the gullet. It was tender. It had the breading. It had the sauce. It had the shiitake mushrooms, and everything just worked.
Really
and that's
well.
what makes these guys so amazing, that they do all these different combinations that work so well together. So, and the next dish that we had was the poutine, oxtail poutine with gravy. So what that is, it's French. It's basically French fries in like a fatty gravy. In this case, I don't know how they made it. Some people make it with duck fat. I don't know if that's what they used, but it had the gravy and then it had oxtail and cheese, right?
Yes, it had like a really light white cheese.
And then cheese. This one was really good too, but it was like a little bit too savory. I don't know if it was just an optic for them, or they just made it extra like salty.
Would you say it's salty?
I don't know if it was.
I think it was
salty.
just
I
think the whole
quite
dish.
Intense.
The whole dish was just a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. Like the flavor, it was really good. It was just a bit too much, but definitely a must-try dish. It's just you do have to have like some sort of drink with that, like a beer. I feel like that and a beer would go perfectly.
Perfect.
Because I think just eating that by itself is just too much of that flavor. But it was really delicious. Once again, highly recommend it with a beer. I think.
Yeah, definitely. And they do have quite an assortment of alcohol. So if you're in the mood for that alky, they definitely have you covered. I liked the oxtail poutine. It was definitely very, very savory. I would have it again, but definitely have it with some kind of beverage.
Beer.
A beer or wine.
Our last dish was the boner burger, which was, I think, my favorite out of all that we had. It was really delicious. It was supposed to have a combination of like bone marrow and short rib. Was it short rib meat?
So.
It was really delicious. I didn't taste the bone marrow, but I think what the bone marrow did for that burger was make it really tender and super juicy. So it was like one of the juiciest burgers I had ever. Yeah. So I guess to sum it all up, Animal is definitely a place to go. If you want to try something different, if you want to try really good food, and you're willing to trust your chef and kind of let them treat you to something that they create, that they believe it's delicious. We highly recommend it to people. Just remember that you will be spending anywhere from 50 to probably like 80,
maybe 100 if you really want to try.
$50 to $100 for a party of two. So just keep that in mind. But it's a great place to go. Definitely, once again, a place to try in LA. If you're looking for something to do, if you're looking for something new to try. You know how us Angelinos love to try new food. So highly recommend it. Yeah,
same here. Highly recommended. One thing though, make a reservation. And just have an open mind. Let go. Kind of just enjoy the experience. Don't be so concerned with how it's gonna taste, what it has in it, what the menu says. Just kind of let go and let your taste buds do all the work for you. Alright guys, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned, we have other reviews coming up that we're excited about, and thanks again. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so, and any likes, any comments, we would really appreciate. Thank you.